Yo, welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things embodiment, entrepreneurship, and manifesting your delicious dream life. Today we are talking about healing and the journey that you have to go on when you're healing. There are obviously so many parts to this and things that I will cover as we go on, but as always, what I want to talk about today is something that's been coming up for me. It's the idea that you don't have to be fully healed before you begin a journey, before you start something new, before you receive the love that you're giving out. And this is relevant to so many aspects of our lives. It can be new job, new career, going back to university, getting new friendship circle, calling in a lover, calling in a partner, moving country, moving city, moving house. And I'm sure so many of you are familiar with the path of rewiring your limiting beliefs, which is something that we're always going to be on. There's always extra levels of depth that we need to go through in our own time, which means we're never completely healed, but we have to remind ourselves that we are worthy of receiving even as we're healing. So a trap that I see a lot of people get into, and a trap that I have been in myself, is the belief that we're not worthy of what we want to attract as we're still healing. A big one for me is healing my money mindset, which is associated with so many limiting beliefs that I've carried on from my parents, from my grandparents, from society, from schools that I've been in growing up, and people and friendship circles that I've been around. Acknowledging that I am always going to be on a new level of depth with that is so freeing, because I used to think that I had to lock myself away for a few years or a certain amount of time, not be in a space where I could receive because I had all this work to do. I was like, okay, I just need to keep working, and then find opportunities that bring up my old traumas so that I can keep working on it and keep working on it. It's the same with relationships. But what we need to get to is a space where we are able to manifest things, to accept them into our lives as we're still on that healing journey. And now I have more than enough money that I need to provide for my life, to pay rent and food and be saving for things and investing in myself. Even though I have a vision of where I want to be with my money mindset, how much money I want to be calling in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, I am so grateful for what I have now, and I know that I've come a long way from where I used to be. And it's because I surrendered to that journey, and I was proud of the journey I was on, and I was working, but also able to receive in all the little bits that the universe wants to bring me to remind me that I'm on the right path and that it is getting better, and that those beliefs are changing and are getting more bountiful, and those layers are being reached and being dug, and it's so beautiful. When it comes to love, this is something that I am going through currently. I have gone through a big breakup over the last couple of months, and it's been so beautiful to completely let go of the idea and the vision I had for my future, the timeline that I had with that person, so that I can now be present for the person that wants to come out, the part of me that wants to come out into this present moment. The work that is coming up for me to do around it is challenging, yes, but also so divine to know that I am strong enough now to handle these things that come up, and I don't have to be completely destroyed. I can actually be receiving love while I'm working on receiving love. It's such a paradox, but that is life. Honestly, it was a lot to handle, but I processed it very quickly, which I am very grateful for. So I did not need to be hung up about that situation. With each partner, even with each date I go on, it's almost like the next rung of the ladder. Because of the shadow work it has brought up for me to heal the old traumas that have been coming up that feel so real. And like I used to, I get lost in them again, but only for a short amount of time, and then I'm able to zoom out and see the macro, see it from an overall perspective, see that I am still receiving all these things that have been on my list, all these things that are very dear to my heart. I'm respecting my boundaries. I'm not giving my complete soul like I used to. I used to give everything in the hope that it would be returned. And now I'm coming from a place where I can give, but I still have me. And there may be a couple of instances where I get caught up in it again and I lose myself a little bit. And I have old traumas come up around not being worthy enough, around being abandoned, all these childhood wounds that I am aware of and working through in my own pace, because you cannot rush this stuff, remember. All of these beautiful things are coming up, and then I'm able to go away and do the work and do the journaling and talk to my friends and sit with it and reflect on it, and then come back to the space and realize that, oh, actually, that isn't happening. The negative story that I'm playing out in my mind to try and prepare myself for what I think is going to come, what I have experienced in the past, even the feeling of wanting to run away because there is expansion possibilities here. There is the possibility to actually be met in a deeper way that I've ever been met in my entire life. It really comes down to practicing. It is all a practice. Life is a practice. We are never going to be perfect. We need to throw perfectionism out the freaking window, because even when it comes to being a creative and building businesses, 70% done is enough. You cannot strive for perfectionism, because it literally does not exist. We are humans, we are not perfect. Whether you're a creative person, a musician, an artist, entrepreneur, people will flock to you and your brand and what you provide because you are human, because they see an element of themselves in you and they value that. And we cannot lead with perfectionism, because the two don't coincide. We make more change in this world by being our authentic selves, by honoring our voices and those around us, honoring our boundaries and speaking our truth from a place of love and awareness and acceptance of other people's views and visions and ways of life. But if you have something you want to bring to this earth, you need to do it unapologetically. You need to do it without the sense of perfectionism, because it will never get done. Even if you think that something is perfect and you finally release it after spending so much time and energy and money on it, in 2 months' time, you will realize that it wasn't perfect. You will see all these imperfections. You will see all these flaws. And that's because we're constantly growing and expanding. And it's a beautiful thing. It's natural. But it means that perfectionism literally does not and cannot exist no matter how hard you try. And it's the exact same thing with the healing journey, whether you're healing from childhood trauma, from manipulation, from some kind of abuse. I'm positive that we have all experienced some kind of abuse, whether it's physical or emotional or mental. Everybody has a story. Everybody has things that they've gone through, and we are all healing. Some people are aware of the terms and conscious of their healing journey, and other people aren't, and that's okay. That's their timeline. Some people will go through their entire lifetime not knowing what it is to be on a healing journey, not knowing what it is to have a limiting belief, to be rewiring limiting beliefs, to consciously manifest. What they don't know is that they're always growing and expanding, and their beliefs might actually be changing even if they're completely unaware. So when it comes to your healing journey, don't self-sabotage, okay? We don't need to plan for the worst simply because that is what has happened in the past. Yes, it is good to know that, okay, if this does happen again, how will I react? How will I respond? How will I look after myself in this process? Continue to fill up my own cup, and then you can let that go and bring in a new positive outlook, a new positive vision of what you actually want to happen, and cement that in your mind, cement that in your body. Feel through it, journal it, talk to people about it, really get clear on what you want to happen, and then start to see little elements of that coming through and be grateful as they do. If you're looking for a community of like-minded people, can you be grateful that there are people around that smile on the street, that pay for strangers' coffees, that give their full presence to conversations? Can you start to see the little things in the world that are aligned with that vision, aligned with the positive vision that you want to see come through for you? And the more and more that you do this, the more that you see these things come through and be grateful for them, the more they will continue to do so. The more you will train your mind to see the positive outcomes, to see the positive situations, and the more that you will start to retrain your brain to believe that that thing is possible. Often as humans, we are more scared of getting what we want than we are of not getting what we want. If we don't get what we want, then everything stays the same. Our fight or flight response does not have to be activated. And yes, that had a place in tribal days, and it still does have a place when it comes to dire situations, but it doesn't now. And we need to recognize that. We need to sit back and not let our fight or flight responses, our old limiting beliefs, our old negative patterns and wounds drive the freaking bus to our life, okay? I'm going to leave some links below that have been super vital to my journey into healing with sexuality, with manifesting. One of those is Abraham Hicks, extremely oh my god, I'm literally like sweating. It is like 30 degrees today, and there is a neighbor drilling something, and I keep having to wait between to talk, and I just want to finish up so I can turn on the fan again because I am just dripping and it's gross. I am going to leave some links below to some resources that have really helped me on my journey. If there's specific topics that you want me to cover, please leave a comment or find me on Instagram and send me a message. I am always open to hear and see how you're going with your journey. At the moment, I am filming what is coming up for me because I am noticing it also in the collective. And hopefully it is giving you some value. If you did, leave a like and a comment and subscribe and share it to a mate if they need some help with it. Catch me on the socials, and I will see you